Today is Sunday, Parashat Miketz. The beginning of this week's parasha, Paro has two dreams, and he's very, very perturbed by those dreams. They don't make sense to him. He sees these 7 cows that are fat cows being swallowed by 7 very, very thin cows. It doesn't make sense. How could this thin cow swallow up these 7 fat cows? Then he sees again another dream, and he sees a dream of 7 very lean ears of grain that swallow up these 7 very, very full and plump type of ears of grain. Does not make sense. How could it be that these thin cows swallow up the fat cows, and these thin ears of grain swallow up the fat ears of grain? Doesn't make sense to Paro. Paro was the head of the Egyptian empire. His whole philosophy, so to speak, was on what's bigger is better, what is more powerful is more capable to accomplish things. I'm sure he had like an incredible army. He built the pyramids, which is in itself a feat of in terms of physical accomplishment. It was all about the greater, the stronger, the more powerful, the better. So for him, that these more powerful cows would be overpowered, so to speak, by the thin cows was totally counter to his philosophy. It was counter to his way of looking at things. And that's why he gets up and he's very, very perturbed. Well, this parasha is always read in the week of Hanukkah. Tonight we're going to be lighting the first candle of Hanukkah. And in the holiday of Hanukkah, we have a very similar concept. We say in the prayer of Hanukkah, in the Al Nesim, Giborim be'ad halashim, Rabbim be'ad me'atim. That Hashem gave the strong, powerful armies of the Greeks into the hands of a weak group, small group of Chashmonaim that were able to overpower the big, formidable armies of the Greeks. V'rabbim be'ad me'atim. And huge numbers of soldiers, great armies of the Greeks, which were multitudes in numbers, were overpowered be'ad me'atim, by a few Chashmonaim. So this is the exact same concept that is in the beginning of this parasha. And how is that possible? Well, because success, victory, is ultimately all made possible by Hashem. If God wills it, that the few would vanquish and conquer and be able to overpower the many, then it will happen. That's some of the miracles of Hanukkah. If Hashem wills for the powerful to be overpowered by the weak, then it will happen. And that's a very important lesson that we learn in this holiday of Hanukkah. If you were to put on the balance physicality and spirituality, the help of Hashem and the spirituality is what will overpower and be able to win against the physical strength. And that's why, if we notice, even though it was a military victory, there are no signs in the celebration of Hanukkah that would glorify the military aspect of the miracle of Hanukkah. We speak about the oil that lasted for 8 days instead of 1 day. The oil and actually the light of Hanukkah symbolizes the light of the Torah. We speak about the dangers, the risks of the Greek influence on the Jewish people with the Hellenists, but we celebrate the perpetuation and the eternity of the Torah in the face of foreign influences. The spirituality victory is what's celebrated. The physical army victory is there. We speak about it, but we don't have any symbols associated with it because we give the importance where the importance really belongs. And that is why on Hanukkah we say a complete Hallel. which is a prayer of praises, and it's verses, it's chapters from Tehillim that praise Hashem. And on Purim, when we were also saved from the sinister plans of Haman, we don't say Hallel, because there the threat was only physical. They didn't go against us in terms of our religion, in terms of our mitzvot. But Hanukkah, the threat was not just physical, it was very much spiritual. They wanted to have the Jewish people forget the sanctity of the holidays, the sanctity of Shabbat, etc. So the more important victory is the spiritual victory that we continue to this very day, generation after generation. Am Yisrael Chai, we continue to celebrate Hanukkah, and most importantly, to celebrate the Torah and the mitzvot that Hashem gave us. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen, and happy Hanukkah.